Hi. Morning, everyone. It's in the beginning of March. As you can see, I'm in front of some of our blue hydrangea. This is one of our front gardens. You can see my kids playing in the background, maybe on the swing set. My pond in the background as well. But I'm going to do some trimming and cut back this hydrangea a little bit. As you can see, it's quite large. It's probably at least 15, 20 years old. It's quite a bit of stuff, so I haven't had very much luck with the blooms. I'm gonna really clean it up here. I'm gonna go and really trim it back, some pruning. We got some really nice weather coming here in the future. We're gonna be in the 40s. Tomorrow's actually supposed to be close to 60. Today's not quite that warm, but I'm gonna do some cleanup. Try to really give this hydrangea the best shot to see a lot of nice blooms. Typically what we've seen in the recent years is we'll have some flowers, as you can see. I can't really, not one right in front of me, but the flowers will typically be around the edges, very edge of the plant. Not much will bloom up in the top sections. So we're gonna really try to clean this up this time, get rid of a lot of the dead wood. You see this one right here is pretty much dead. We're gonna trim back to where the leaf nodes are and see where the swollen leaf nodes, get it really some nice good airflow going through the plant. We'll do fertilization, we'll show what we do. This is in pretty much sun all day, so wilting is an issue usually with this one, and we'll kind of go through what I do to help prevent that as well. And we're gonna go from there. So other hydrangeas will bloom on new growth. You'll see the new growth buds down obviously at the ground level, but you can see here that these are the leaf nodes where they'll actually bloom on old wood, especially for this type of hydrangea. Let's see here. So when I go and I'm gonna prune this, I'm gonna take down about 1/3 of the plant. So you can see here's the first leaf node. This whole branch is very nice, but there's a second, there's a third, fourth. So I'll probably prune somewhere down in this section, just above the leaf node, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and go do that on a lot of this plant right here and clean out the leaf debris like I mentioned before. So you can see I started cleaning up around this area here. You can see a lot of leaf litter right in there, right? So something I typically haven't done is I just kind of leave it. But this year I'm going to actually really clean it out and get a lot of this 2-3+ year wood. See what we can do to get some more air circulation in here. Something I like to do is propagate these plants. You can do it very passively. There's a little technique I'll show you that works really well. It takes a couple years to go and to actually do, but it definitely seems to transplant very well the plants afterwards. As you can see, this is a side shoot that I just did 2 years ago. And I'll tell you why this rock is here.
Aren't you spring by now in March?
It is. It's March.
But still winter.
Supposed
Why can I see? Why can I see? Can I ask you? Matthew?
You want to help me? You gotta move. Can you pick up these and put them in the bucket?
Yeah.
Some of this wood was talking about, old wood versus new wood. If you look at that right there, see how there's like no green? Hopefully you can see that. You can kind of tell if it was a 1-year-old branch versus a couple of years at least. This one's several years old. You can tell by how stiff it is and how little green there is right around the edges of the actual stem itself. Let's see if I can get a fresh cut to kind of show you. So you can see there's no green on the very outside of it. So it's several years old as far as the branch is concerned. I'll show you a difference of one that has some green. As you can see, that one has a little bit of green on the very outside edge. So that's a 1-year-old 1-year-old stem growth on this one. So
Oh, that one? Is that a stick?
it is a stick.
This is...
Another way you can tell by really old growth too is, hang on one sec.
Okay.
You see the bark, I was kind of peeling off. This is a couple years old, so you can kind of see how it peels off. You can also see how where the leaf nodes are, there are no buds. You can kind of see a little bud there, but it's a dead bud from the year before. But another way you can tell that's a very old stem.
Hey, I was helping you.
You are helping.
The bag saying I soup missing.
You can probably see while I'm cleaning out the leaf, I'm pulling up. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Please get out of the garden. You're gonna ruin those. Those are daffodils, bud. No, I see. Chipmunk hole.
Huh?
It's a chipmunk hole.
I think my hole.
Yeah, watch out. It's his home. As you can see, as I'm cleaning out the leaf debris, some of the branches have been there for so long. I told you I haven't cleaned this thing or taken care of it as much as I probably should have, but this is what happens sometimes in life. But you can see the branches are pulling right out of the ground because they're just so old, and the plant has pretty much gotten rid of it and stopped growing on it, so it doesn't take care of it anymore. So you can just pull them right out of the ground just like that. Something I should have done many years ago, but I just want to show you that. Here's a really good comparison of the two that I was talking about earlier. One with the swollen buds from a year-old growth to more than a year. You can see the bark falling off right there, but side-by-side comparison of the two. Pretty awesome. There you go. I have half the plant kind of trimmed up a little bit. I'll show you the difference. You can see how clean it is now versus what that looks like over there. You can actually see the ground. A lot of the dead wood is removed. Still what I'm gonna remove here. There's Jackson. I was talking about propagation earlier. Something that you can go and do yourself. It takes a couple years to do. It's kind of a lazy man's propagation style, but it's worked for me several times, as you can see. Here's a new plant here. But you see one of these, this one's not a good example, but one that you actually have some growth with. So in the springtime, when you start seeing some growth on one of these particular branches like this, the ones that are low lying on the ground, what you can do is you dig into the ground, you put the portion of that stem, making sure the portion on the other side still has some wild growth coming from it, and bury it. And what you can do to keep it in the ground itself is put a rock. So you would just put a rock right over it after you buried it, and you wait for a full year. What will end up happening is it will start producing roots at this node. So year one, you want them to to allow the plant to create the roots here underground. The second year, you cut from the mother plant. So this was under the ground like this. You'd end up cutting that branch right here. So then you can kind of leave it for a month or so before you go and transplant it, but it gives it enough time to establish itself independently from the mother plant. And by doing so, then you can go and transplant it to other areas. This one right here I did last year. So this is the second year of growth on it. You actually can see it right there under the ground, actually. Closer, right there. So you can see where the tie was. Right there. Hey, little spider. You can see where the tie is. I gotta cut it. And in a month's time, I'll transplant this, and I'll have a whole new hydrangea plant to plant wherever I want in my gardens. Seven years of not doing this, as you can see. Crazy. So as far as pruning is concerned, let's see if we can get, so right there you see the leaf nodes. You want to typically take out probably approximately a third of the plant, take out some of the dead stems. You can see this one kind of had some winter damage to it. So you can see the different color in that stem versus down lower on the stem where you see the leaf node here. This hydrangea blooms on old wood, so you don't want to take it way down to the ground because you will not have any blooms for the season.
I told you I'd show you one of the ways I prevent the drooping that happens in a lot of hydrangeas from overexposure to sun. You don't have to water as much. But these are soil moist granules. You get them right on Amazon, really cheap. I've had this bag for 3 years now. Still using it. But what you'll do around the hydrangeas, probably around the circumference, poke, pretty decent hole down into the ground with like a crowbar or something to that extent, and you can pour these granules. You see the scoop right in there. Not much. If you overdo it, you'll see it actually as you water. It will come right out of the ground, and it's the same stuff that's in diapers, so it takes in the moisture that you provide, and it holds on to it for quite a length of time, which will help give the moisture necessary to the hydrangeas, and that will help you prevent the wilting that typically happens in the middle of the summer when the sun's one of the most intense and the heat comes in. But I just want to show you that, and that's kind of what I've been doing. I got to do another application this year. It lasts somewhere around the range of 2 to 3 years, I've seen. It's been a couple of years since I've done it, so I'm going to do another application this year. I also I put some of this in when I do a transplant of those, so it's right around it, in and amongst the roots themselves instead of around the plant. But if you have an established plant, the technique I just talked about with putting holes, approximately a foot-ish deep, is a good solution for those. Well, here's the finished product. You can see my son's on his little tractor. But yeah, you can see how much of a difference there is. All of it's cleared out. You can see through it. I put superphosphate down too as well to help out with the blooms and better growth. It's early in the season. It's basically when you put it down. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to you guys next time.